And we're on the air. So welcome again to, I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this. Time flies. We're having so much fun trying to use Google Hangouts and Webinar Jam, which I have to say is really cool. We liked it. Let's see, 4 out of 4 brain surveyed like it better than GoToWebinar. Just saying. The limited sample, granted. Anyway, so my name is Leslie Rohde, and with me are Dan Thies and Corey Burke and Michelle Chance-Thankthorne, who has the longest lower third of all of us. Like, look, it's just barely fits.
You had to say it.
You have like another dash and something else in there?
Well, there's no horn in there either, so that's the even funnier part.
Oh, you're right. It's not. I inserted more letters. Okay, good.
He heard wrong and he thought horn. What? No.
Okay, so in this episode, we were actually going to focus on what e-commerce people should do right before the holidays. So the first thing you should know is there's some holidays coming up, right? Would that be good? Okay. All right.
Great place to start.
That went over. We need a laugh track. Is there an effect for that? So you know what? Let's start with Dr. Shopping himself, Dr. Daniel Thies. So Dan, what should Dr. Dan, what should e-commerce people do right now to prep for the holidays? They should unmute their mic, Dan. You don't actually have to be very good at this, as it turns out. Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works great.
Hey, see, that did that all by itself. So, of course, one area where we can't hear me. Can you hear me?
You're fine. Just keep talking and stuff.
Okay, because I can't see you right. You look blurry all of a sudden. I'm sorry. I'd like to pretend I'm talking to you. So, if you're running AdWords, now would be a good time to get in there and look at a couple of things with your search campaigns. First of all, if you've got any ad tests that you've been running that you kind of been meaning to get back and look at, or maybe you forgot about, go conclude those tests. There's one. Second thing to keep in mind is that as search volume picks up, competition will be bidding up to get that traffic, and so you want to keep an eye on your average positions. I would have an average position report that runs about 2 weeks trailing, and I would want to see that maybe not every day, but every couple of days. Want to look and make sure that we're not starting to drop off the map, particularly in retail. If you're targeting consumers, Google tells you, well, there's no variation in landing page conversion based on the position the ad appeared in search. What they're saying is that if your ad is at the very top of the search result page, it won't convert any better than one that's all the way down at the bottom right of the search result page on clicks. Then that's just not true, because when people search for something that they want to buy, they've got their wallet out, and after they've bought it from someone else whose ad was higher than yours, they don't need to buy it from you. And lead generation markets, where you might have people that are looking for a AdWords management expert, where they're just going through and clicking all the ads and downloading everybody's white papers. Maybe the conversion rate doesn't vary that much, but in real life, especially for retailers, the closer your ads are to the top, the better you're going to do. As you start to drop down the right-hand rail, you're going to have a problem. And so if you get to a place where you can't profitably stick up there, your best choice is probably going to be to jump out of that auction and let the suckers have it. Another thing you really got to be thinking about is shopping campaigns. So if you don't have shopping campaigns up and running, it's easy to set up to get all of your products in there in one big data feed and do a little bitty bid and see what happens. You can actually do more than that, but the most important thing is to get that stuff up and running and let Google have that stuff for a week or two before the big holiday rush starts after Thanksgiving. I would say you've got about 2 weeks before you start to lose money by not having your shopping campaigns up and running. And so if you're going to play in shopping this year for the holidays, you want to get in, because Michelle, you've been a retailer. You probably still are.
Been a retailer.
You're probably still sneaky retailing something somewhere, but you know the holidays work like everybody says Black Friday, and that's not the biggest day for an online retailer necessarily, but things pick up that weekend, and on Monday when the TV has told them it's Cyber Monday, so go buy stuff on the internet, they all go and just go do it apparently, and at that point. That's a day when you want to bid as aggressively as you feel like bidding because your conversion rates are not going to be better from search than they are on that day. I have, for retailers that target consumers, gotten away with easily a 50% increase in bids. And you just, again, monitor your position, and you don't want to stick with that bid for eternity, but coming in early and bidding aggressively on Cyber Monday can help you grab a bunch of share. And the cool thing about doing that kind of aggression with shopping campaigns is that that you actually we tend to see with retailers a 3 to 5 times ROI on what you get in shopping campaigns versus what you get in. So even when we're doing well in search, we're usually doing 3 to 5 times as well with shopping campaigns. And that's just because everybody's in search and hardly anybody, relatively speaking, is in shopping campaigns. And Amazon, for example, doesn't do Google paid shopping campaigns. They'll run text ads on search queries. Sometimes it'll show up, but oftentimes that's taking people to a category or to a search page or some other crazy place on Amazon and not even taking them to a product page. But you know, that day, that week is going to be a time when if you're fast and aggressive, you can grab a bunch of share. So that's what I got on shopping campaigns right now. I'm sure somebody else has something they'd like to say about getting ready for the holidays, about, I don't know, conversion or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Possibly.
We should actually convert traffic. What do you think?
I think
Michelle,
that
you're the
would be
one.
a good idea, yes.
Yeah. So Michelle, you're the one who suggested we spend this episode with, speaking about just the e-commerce people. So what was on your list since you're the one who brought it up?
Well, thank you for asking, Leslie. That's so kind. Really, I think it came up because one of the clients I'm working with in project management said, "Well, I'm not really doing anything for the holidays except she sells stuff that people buy during the holidays," and so I think you have to begin thinking about what your email campaigns are going to look like for the holidays and mapping that out. What specials you're going to have, what kind of ad creative you're going to get ready for those campaigns, what offers you're going to do. If you're going to mail offers around Black Friday or Cyber Monday or drive people into real stores, pay attention to what that's going to be. And then, imagine this, when they get to your website, actually send them to things you're selling, and maybe, just maybe, make it holiday-ish. So if you're selling things that are Christmas themed, perhaps you should have them on the front page as opposed to still your Halloween stuff. So
That's an interesting idea. Wow.
By the way, I mean, sticking a candy cane or a little, like, picture of some holly or something on your site, dress the freaking thing up, all right? Get in the damn spirit. Retail stores start putting that junk up, like, in July, and I see so many retailers that don't have any junk up at all. And of course, there's no place to hang it, but if you've got a logo, put a Santa hat on it or something. Do something to make people. By the way, one of the best little upsell trickies we ever did was adding like a $3 gift wrap thing, and I think now that's like expected, and so probably it's just a like, please gift wrap this, but a little Santa hat next to free gift wrapping, something like that, to give people one more reason to buy that now. Well, I'm not have to think about wrapping paper because they're going to wrap it for me. Of course, don't just gift wrap the entire box that you're shipping. You got to probably want to actually gift wrap the gift and put it inside of a box so that the kid on Christmas Day is not opening up their Stretch Armstrong doll in a giant box full of packing peanuts, and the dog's eating them and everybody's running around and grandpa's mad. And don't ruin Christmas, okay? Be nice.
Be nice.
That was very nice, Dan. Okay.
Grandpa's always mad.
Thanks for that little. of so what else you got, Michelle?
Well, I think along with that, right? Being prepared with your offers, like I said, we did that, right? And on the actual page itself, because we used to be in the gift business, and so I would do things like on our best-selling items, make sure that we're even talking about this particular holiday. While it's a really generic gift message during the year, wouldn't Grandpa love this money clip for Christmas? Or can't you imagine John opening this money clip on Christmas Day? And I picked money clip because we sold lots and lots and lots of those. But actually leveraging the content on the page, and I don't know, be a marketer. So
That seems like a good idea.
it seems like a good idea. And when I talked with a client, one of the things she was concerned about was mailing too often during the holidays. And so I'd love you guys to jump in on this, but I told her, I said, how many emails do you get every day? What percentage of those do you actually see? What do you actually think the chance is that if you mailed 8 to 10 times over the holiday season, that any percentage of your people are going to see every single email? So thoughts on frequency, you guys?
I know Leslie's thoughts on frequency.
Yeah, Jim's right.
I'm sorry, email frequency when it comes to boosting it for the holiday season.
Yeah, but first let's figure out what the heck is going on with Michelle's video. I mean, all I'm seeing is either a still picture or a black screen. What the heck is that about?
I have no idea.
I don't either. So, okay.
Michelle, and she looks lovely today.
It says "Hi me."
She's got some holiday green and everything.
I even dressed up for you guys today. I've got red and green, and I got my Christmas tree up.
I see that. You know, that's very festive of you, and it's not even Halloween yet. But anyway. Okay. Well, that's now it's working fine, which is really odd. Well, you know, speaking of frequency, so I mean, Corey, I know you get this all the time from SEO clients about how to overwhelm people with all that content, right?
Yeah, you went robot on me there. I didn't.
Yeah. I think it's Leslie that's the problem. I had the same experience, Corey.
Oh, interesting. So maybe it's me. It's possible it's me.
Clearly it's you.
It usually is. So no, but it was so people were talking about like don't mail so often on the holidays. People are going to get tired of the email. La 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 la. Well, we hear this about social media when we're posting for our SEO clients too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of the 36 clients? How few of them do you think have not brought that up?
Oh man.
1% have not brought that up.
Yeah,
that would be less than 1.
They're in the 1%.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you've got to make a story out of it, right? I mean, by the way, the 12 days of Christmas thing is something that was no doubt invented by retailers who were only kicking themselves that they didn't make it the 24 days of Christmas. And if you can do a 12-day every day, some kind of a thing, just figure out some way that it's related to a partridge or a pear tree or some damn thing. At least stick a partridge on the page so that they get its partridge day sale. It's pear tree day sale. It's maids milking, swans swinging, swingers, swans. Weird.
Yeah. But or you don't even have to go with the original song. I mean, you can do some.
You can just count the days.
Weird Al version.
Say, hey, we're doing 15 days of Christmas because we like you that much. That means we're going to send you 15 days worth of emails.
Or just just make up your own rhyme about your own products. Maybe we should do that. We should have the 12 marketing gifts of Christmas. We can come up with 12 things.
6
on the first
daily
day of
abstracts, 5 weekly commentaries.
That's it. That kind of thing. There you go. Holiday sale. Anyway, okay.
Oh man.
3 pictures of cats, 2 pictures of dogs. One thing about Obama. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Whoops.
Just trying to fit into Facebook, man. Speaking of Facebook.
Yes.
So let's just imagine that you were going to mail a bunch of people.
What should we do about Facebook?
Let's just pretend that now that Michelle got this whole thing started. Now we're going to mail all of our customers for 12 days and like make up a little song about why they should buy our stuff and what's on sale. Well, if I'm going to send mail to people, that means I have their email address, right? Is that correct, Corey?
Sounds good.
Sounds like a necessary condition to send the emails to have the address. And if you had the email address of all those people, you could upload that list of email addresses to Facebook, for example, as a custom audience. And this would allow you to
what would you do with that, Corey? What would you do with that if you uploaded that?
I would run an ad to that said custom audience that mirrored the email.
Right. So the same time the email is going out, there's an ad on Facebook, and so they might see the ad on Facebook and say, "I'll think about that later," and then later they come back and they read the email and go, "Yes, I got to go buy that." Or they might read an email and say, "I should probably come back to that later," and then later they're on Facebook and they see the ad and they say, "Oh, I should buy that." But that simple amplification is something that you can do really, really cheap and really, really effectively. Also, if you wanted to go a little bit crazy and get into the kind of stuff that Michelle works on with her coaching clients, you might want to think about taking that custom audience, which will probably match somewhere around half the email addresses will match a record in Facebook. For some folks, it'll be more. For some, it'll be less. But building a lookalike audience, and we use the most conservative kind of lookalike audience, what's called a 1% audience, and running that same promotion to those fine folks as a lookalike audience, and you can add some other qualifiers onto that. So you'd want to, if your customers, and by the way, if your customer list that you upload is in the range of about 1,000 people, you'll be able to see all kinds of stuff about them, but demographics, so they're mostly women between these ages and and then you can go apply the same demographic filter to your lookalike audience, and if what you sell is high-end and premium, you can add income filters. There's categories for people that if nothing else, people that actually like to purchase stuff online, there's actually data that Facebook has access to that lets you filter your Facebook campaigns down to just people that buy stuff on the internet, and that will amplify the effect of that. Now, it might not be the most greatest campaign you've ever run, so we like to do that first as a little test with a limited budget, and then expand as we see results. But that's something that anybody can do without really having to do anything other than what you're already doing to run your email campaign. And you should be running email campaigns. It's the holidays. Everybody wants more email. It's your gift to them is to offer to sell them stuff at a discount or something.
The gift that keeps on giving.
So by all means, give them what they want. Totally right.
No, if they want you to.
I think another thing that's important for the holidays is to have an idea of who your avatar is for men versus women especially. Really, and then adjust your marketing message to match, since most men wait till the last minute. Make your message for that. It's easy enough to target them on Facebook and email that way. And if you can offer some sort of faster shipping, or because I don't think they're going to change their buying behavior necessarily. If they wait till the last minute, they wait till the last minute. Just because you say don't wait till the last minute doesn't mean they're going to be like, oh, that's a good idea. They've probably already thought that. But if you can make it easier for them and join the conversation that's in their head, which is, oh crap, I waited till the last minute, then you can really have a leg up, because I don't see a lot of marketing like that usually.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're going to wait till the last minute to decide if they need to wait till the last minute. So kind of too late.
I'm thinking about how long I should wait. I'll get back to you on that.
There's a couple things that I think on-site, one thing on-site that people can do, one, if you haven't in a while, definitely look for broken links, internal links on your page. So pages that are throwing a 404 error, and add, if there is a page that it should be going to, adjust for that. If you no longer carry that product but you're getting traffic to it, you can throw a coupon on top of that and redirect them either to the category or a similar product, and that way it keeps them on site. So if you have site issues, you can offer an apology and direct them to something that they may buy with that coupon code, just for them for finding that error. another thing that I think would be good is to start creating content if you're not already. So if you're not abstracting, if you're not doing commentary, if you're not doing hero content, start doing that kind of around the holiday, because it's a really good way to get people into your site without it being a shopping message. They're already getting bombarded with buy, buy, buy. If you offer them really good content to get into your site, you can have an advertisement on the side that says buy, 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 and that's B-U-Y, not B-Y-E. You can add them to your remarketing list. So if you get them in for Thanksgiving, you can add them to your remarketing list. And the nice thing about those lists is that you can actually change out your advertising. So if you get them on a list for, say, Thanksgiving, you can run Thanksgiving ads. When it comes closer time to Christmas, you can start running Christmas ads. If there's any overlap in the next holiday, which would probably be Valentine's Day, unless you sell like something for New Year's, you can change your ad out, as long as it makes sense, to then start marketing to them for Valentine's Day, depending on how long your cookie is. So start thinking about what you're going to do this holiday, as well as how you can use that into the first quarter of 2015.
Yeah, and indeed, I mean, let's remember why basically all holidays, except your own birthday, and even I'm sure the celebration of birthdays goes in this category as well, is that they were all invented by retailers. And I know I'm going to get lots of hate mail about that. It's like, oh no, the religious thing, or whatever, you know. The ones that, I mean, there were some pagan celebrations back in the day, but the reason we're still celebrating them now is about where the money goes. And so, you know, use what offline retailers already know and just abuse the heck out of it right now. It's like there's already Christmas decorations up in stores, and it's not even Halloween. Like, what the heck happened to the two intervening holidays? Well, what they figured out is that Christmas sold better than the others, and so they just kind of brushed them aside. Not necessarily saying you should do that, but look at the power of holidays. They're pretty well proven, and if you're an online retailer, you damn sure ought to be using them. So. Cool. What else, Corey? What else you got? We're on a roll there.
Well, it's not necessarily online, but if you do have an existing list, it probably doesn't hurt to drop some form of direct mail into them if you have their full address and they've purchased from you in the past, to stand out from your competition. They don't expect them to remember who you are just because they purchased from you before. You need to get in front of them as best you can, and email's really good for that. Obviously, remarketing ads are phenomenal for that because you can follow them both on, if you have the Google cookie and Facebook, or Perfect Audience and AdRoll. Wherever you're tripping cookies on their computer, you can follow them. But if you do drop a message to them in their mailbox that either says, hey, look for our email, or come to the sites, and it can be personalized to them. I don't suggest that for cold traffic, but definitely if you have an existing audience and you have their address, it's something that not a lot of retailers are necessarily going to do to try to stand out from each other. So try to make your mark.
Something you touched on briefly was, check your site for 404 errors, and a bunch of other things you probably ought to do.
Well, there's one in particular everybody's forgetting, but yeah.
But just your site in general in terms of spiderability. So get Screaming Frog and run it on your website. Look at site load time. Think about whether or not your server is going to handle the load. I mean, if you had problems last year, you'd like to actually have more of a problem this year, so go fix it now. There's things. I mean, it's nothing worse than having your store down for 4 hours during the holidays. That's going to cost you, assuming you've done everything else right, a whole bunch of money. And so it's it's the damn little things. You can have 95% of everything right, and the last 5% is going to cost you the win. So there's some, and that's just coming off of what Corey was talking about with 404 errors. So what was on your mind, Dan?
Well, merchandising is such an important part of online retailing, and what we like to have retailers that we work with doing on a regular basis is going through their category, their product listing pages, as the retail American community has decided to start calling them, but their category pages, which is what old school people call them still. And look in your Google Analytics and look at the in-page analytics. And you can find out from what products are displayed there which ones are actually getting clicked, and if you have enough volume, you can actually see which ones are getting purchased. You can see which ones have the greatest contribution to pages viewed and stuff like that. There's lots of different ways you can slice and dice it, but look at the products that are on there right now on your default when somebody lands on that page, and I bet you're going to find stuff that's close to the top of that list that nobody's clicking, and stuff that's farther down the list that's getting lots of clicks. And the stuff that's farther down the list is stuff that people like, and you should move it up. And the stuff that's up at the top and hardly anybody's clicking or nobody's clicking, they don't like so much, so move it down. And as a bonus, if you haven't had a whole lot of catalog turnover, you can actually get a sense of, if you haven't done any re-merchandising during the year, you can just go right back in the Wayback Machine and look at how the thing performed last November and December. Just start the date range of whenever Thanksgiving was through a week before Christmas, and look at what people were clicking on in those categories around the holidays, because that's one of those things that you have to continually merchandise, because that mix of what people like and don't like is going to change. But that's the way that you can re-merchandise without having to do much thinking and agonizing about, gosh, are people going to like this or people don't like that? Well, they'll tell you what they like if you've got any traffic there and just figured out what people were clicking.
Yeah, it's a real good idea. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the equivalent of the offline. What are we going to put on the end cap in this grocery store during this weekend? Right? There are teams of people who study spreadsheets, stacks and stacks of paperwork to figure out, what they're going to do and at what price sales at and all that kind of thing.
Which item do you want to have the special sale price on? It's one of those top performing items. Right? That's the thing that people wanted the most, and oh my gosh, it's on sale. Oh, I have to buy it now.
Exactly right. Exactly.
That's a really good example. I've known tons of business owners that they put the stuff nobody wants on sale. They think that's going to drive people into their site because it's cheaper. It's like nobody wanted that to begin with. So
nobody wants cashew M&M. Sure.
Well, and two, I want to mention, Dan, I saw this happen earlier this year. We were kind of told, you can't change this product because this product is our top-selling product. It's our most popular product. And I said, well, it is a pretty popular product. However, it's only one of 2 images you have in the Google product listing ads. And so it could be because it's the only ones you advertise that make it popular. And so we actually isolated traffic that wasn't from paid sources. We found a lot of other traffic on the in-page analytics to see what things were actually selling that weren't being advertised.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that tells you that's stuff that you should be advertising.
Right.
Indeed, indeed. Well, of course, the other thing is, if you have not been doing SEO, it's not the greatest time to do SEO because it's not going to pay you during the holidays. But on the other hand,
unless you're willing to go for the burn the domain strategy, which means you want to time all of your link blog network buys to about 3 days before Thanksgiving, so that you hit that peak of ranking right on Cyber Monday, and then you got about 2 weeks before we're going to go ahead. We'll help you do the migration to the new domain and make sure that those bad links don't follow you. We offer a service to do that if you do decide to go that route. But Leslie's going to give you more of a white hat-ish kind of approach.
That's right, yeah. Yes, thank you, Dan, for that trip down spammer lane. So the challenge is, SEO is not going to probably deliver overwhelming results this quarter, given that you're just starting now. Now, if you started a month ago, it could actually deliver significant results, even into the holidays, right? If you were doing it the right way. Of course, if you don't know what the right way is, we're going to have I'm sure we'll have a hangout on that too. But more to the point, if you haven't started it, you could start it now if you do it the right way, and at least it would help you in Q1. I know most retailers that have a big Q4 have a really crappy Q1, and so if you wanted to, do all the stuff we're talking about now for the holidays, and if you had bandwidth left over, if you had resources to expend, you could really help yourself in Q1 by starting search marketing now. Because we're going to see, buying behavior is going to change dramatically in Q1 compared to Q4. Ad spend's going to go down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the more the more power you had within search, organic search in Q1, the much easier it's going to be for you to kind of ease on. So that's something you should consider, but it's not the top of the list given where we are right now. 2 months ago, I would consider that the top of the list. Get that started now, because stuff like like Facebook and shopping ads you can turn on not quite instantaneously, but very rapidly. So literally, here it is, the week of the week of Halloween. You could have a lot of this stuff done and working for you within the next 5 to 10 days.
You can do it wrong in about 25 minutes with shopping campaigns. It takes a few more days to do it right, but
and
doing it wrong can be better than not doing it all, by the way.
There's that. At least you're getting more brand impression and more exposure. So SEO, even in the best of circumstances, is going to take longer than 5 to 10 days. That's, like I said, not the top of the list, but absolutely you should consider that if you have the resources, because it's going to make Q1 a lot better. So that's what I got about that.
But doing things like cleaning up your extra long page titles. I mean, we run a Screaming Frog report for people, and that thing generates a mountain of data, and so we just kind of boil it down and spit out the stuff that they actually need to work on. But it's like every time we crawl a site, we find busted redirects, we find 404s that shouldn't be there, and we find page titles that are much larger than what actually fits on a search result page anymore. And oh, by the way, the title of a page doesn't show all the way across the title bar of the browser application anymore. It just shows in those little bitty tabs, and so you ain't got that much paint to paint with anymore, or it's not as big a canvas as you used to. But Screaming Frog has got it nailed down to like stuff that'll fit visually and won't. And so that's another thing, is just you want your page titles to be something that's quick, punchy, to the point. If you're still doing that thing where it's like keyword vertical pipe, keyword vertical pipe, keyword vertical pipe, repeat the same 3 again, and then stick your brand name on the end of that.
That
Go
ain't
ahead,
cutting
go ahead and get that stuff off there. If you got to take your brand name off, that's okay. They're not going to remember it anyway from seeing it in the title.
Yeah, indeed.
If you ain't Amazon, you don't need your brand name in the title.
And if you are Amazon, you don't need your brand name and title. So,
speaking of Amazon, that's so funny that you said that, because I was getting ready to talk about that. But
all right,
Pinterest.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about that.
I put a link in the chat. One of the clients last week I was working with, I wanted to see what people were pinning, what was popular. And so you go into retail stores now and you see these little signs that say popular on Pinterest. There's no reason you can't do that on your e-commerce store as well. And how you know that, and I put the link there, it's pinterest.com/source/your URL. And you can see what pins are popular on your own site. What's interesting about this for the client I was working with is the most popular pin, the thing that you could visually look at the page and go, gosh, this has been pinned 30 times. When I clicked on the pin, when I got to his site, it said, this item is no longer available. But it didn't redirect or offer any other product suggestions. And so I think we can add clean up your Pinterest to clean up your popular pins to the list. Not that you can take those pins off Pinterest, but you can affect on your own website, make sure that you don't have missing stuff.
Yeah, we got to get this picture of Leslie and the goat off of ours.
By all means, at least replace.
Well, I don't think we have a model release from the goat, so is all I'm saying.
His attorney would think that's bad.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the goat's attorney?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Bad joke. There we go.
We still love you.
Okay.
So that URL that I put into the chat there, just take out Amazon.com and replace it with your own URL, and you can see what's being pinned and visually see what's most popular on your site.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Nice link. Thank you.
Okay, so
look at what people are pinning on Amazon that's in your category might be kind of interesting. I wonder if there's any way we can use that with search and stuff.
What are you talking about?
Well, it just occurred to me if I was selling tennis shoes, for example, and I could see which tennis shoes were getting pinned by people off of Amazon, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
I believe it should be. I mean, that should be something that one would be interested in. It's kind of a weird group of stuff that's pinned there, but okay, whatever. I guess people buy weird stuff. That's what I guess. Yeah.
On the internet?
Yeah,
No.
right? No,
Never.
it couldn't be. No, that couldn't be right. There must be something wrong with that data. Yeah.
You guys are doing SEO for two of the weirdest products I've ever seen, so shut up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Don't talk about those products. They're too weird.
Yeah, this is a G-rated show, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, PG anyway. G is hard. It's a tough standard these days. But oh, and it changes rapidly too. Incidentally.
Yeah, because it's.
Oh.
I know you fellas may not be pinners, but.
Yeah, right.
There's like 200 people on Pinterest now, Leslie. It's very popular.
Yeah. And I hear most of them are chicks, which is pretty cool. So that's good.
That demographic is changing, though. The DIY market is changing that towards some men, some.
Really? Well, supposedly it's like
Pinterest every day, Leslie. You should join me.
Oh yeah, right. The guy who drinks Cosmos. Oops. Anyway, great. Wow, that's an interesting little find. Yeah. Source Amazon.com. Huh. Yeah, I think you could do some interesting market research.
Yeah.
With that, you kind of track. I'm thinking of a Pinterest scraper.
Well, every competitor you've got is worth looking at.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'll find out which ones are robo-pinning their own stuff and which ones actually have humans endorsing their stuff. And the human votes are probably worth something to you.
Probably so. Marketing, so okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, so what else have we got? We got a little bit of time left. We have no questions. I mean, we don't have to go all a full hour if we don't want to.
Hey, Corey, were there any questions in the system? Because I didn't check for that today.
I did not either. I haven't seen any come in a while, actually.
Yeah. Because we always
I'm sure the URL is still the same. If anybody wants to go check.
Let's see here.
Now we're all
looking. Anyone viewing? Do you guys have any? We have a good group of people here today.
Mm-hmm. We do. For something we don't even really actually advertise yet.
Well, we tell our people.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We sent out, I guess, 3 emails on this one. So, yeah.
Last question that I see is the same one regarding the membership platform. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, cool. I mean, I think that we've got we've got a bunch of stuff for people to do. I mean, obviously, it's probably more than anyone actually has time to do, frankly. So you have to, prioritize the list and come up with what's most important for the holidays.
Certainly, anything that helps with conversion and anything that helps you get money out of the customers you already know is the 2 big money areas to me.
Yeah, although the conversion stuff, I mean, so much of, unless it's the obvious conversion stuff.
I'm talking about things like merchandising, things like actually checking your product descriptions and stuff like that, and making sure.
Something you don't really have to split test.
Yeah, stuff you can do on principle, exactly, because you don't have a whole lot of time left to test.
Exactly.
And Leslie, I shared with you just in a regular.
But, I mean, it strikes me that people are not using shopping campaigns, and they're not really doing nearly as much with Facebook audiences. And obviously, people don't seem to ever do enough with email. Those are in terms of just getting more people, more eyeballs on your site, and then making sure that your site actually sells.
If you're saying to yourself, but I already mailed them last month,
that's the problem.
Not mailing enough.
There's a good way, so you don't have to necessarily burn out your list either. If you're going to send an email and you want to email them again the next day, but you're afraid of burning your list, email those people that didn't open the first email. So you don't have to just email everybody if you're really freaked out about it. You
can send a different message to people that clicked to remind them of the offer, and I mean, we could. There's lots of crazy stuff you can do with email, but start by actually sending some.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
Yeah, I mean, we had a private client a year ago. Sent once a month, And they made some money whenever they did the email. So, well, okay, what about sending twice a month? Would you do that? And I said, well, we think it's just going to make the same amount of money with twice the amount of email. I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you that's not true. And sure enough, I was right. Like, woohoo, one time, yeah, that works. And they, every time they send mail, now they're still only sending twice a month. I was trying to get them to once a week, and I got too much pushback there to move on. But so they're sending twice a month, and they're making twice as much money from their email as they were once a month. Woohoo! So that's a win. Like I said, if I get them to go once a week or even more often than once a week, way better. Now, once you start mailing once a day, as Corey was suggesting, and that's a very good thing, but then you want to do some structure to it instead of just blast the whole list every single day with the same message. I mean, you can do better than that, and determine what people are actually responding to, mail what they're going to respond to most. I mean, maybe we need to do a whole session on email marketing, but you don't have to burn your list, as Corey was saying. You can actually have them thank you for mailing you offers more often. There's much less chance that they will forget who you are, unsubscribe, and call you spam if you mail them more often than if you mail them less often. If you mail them once a quarter, they're going to say, who the heck is this? And they're going to mark it as unsolicited. So you would definitely want to have that happen.
There's another thing that I think is important since we're rolling into the holidays, which is try to do as much recon as you can. It might not help. You might not be able to pivot fast enough to implement it into your own systems, but if you create a swipe file of what other people are doing email-wise and Facebook ad-wise and Google ad-wise, you can take screenshots of all of that and create a really good swipe file for next year so that you're way ahead of the game. So don't feel like if you're feeling behind, just know that you can use that information for future date.
Yeah, if you don't have any ideas, just subscribe to all your competitors' stuff and do what they're doing, with just a little bit better.
A little better, yeah. Hopefully a little better. Most competitors don't do a very good job. Actually, Andy asked a question here. Any tips on shortening the web page titles? That is, how to ... Write them almost like they were AdWords ads. Start with that. That a title should sell the click, right? When it comes up in search results, Google's going to mess around with a description based upon what the exact search phrase was. You want to have a meta description tag, which is decent, but they're hardly ever going to use just that description tag the way you wrote it. But the title, in almost all cases, there are actually some exceptions to this, but the title they will almost always use exactly as you built it. And so make sure it's reasonable length and reads in such a way that the human is going to look at that and go, yes, that is an answer to the question I just typed in, and so that they'll click it. At that level, you are selling the click, and so just make sure that you sell the click. Examples, good titles, bad titles, same thing you have with opt-in boxes. So, for example, if you want people to get on your mailing list, which one of these is going to get you to click? It's going to be sign up here with a button that says submit, or is it going to be get our 7 ways of doing whatever the heck that's really important in your market, and the button says get it now or let me in, right? Obviously, the second one is going to get you more clicks. It's the same thing. You're selling the click. In that case, you're also selling out. Give me an email. Trust me enough to not spam you. But in search, if the title doesn't look like it's the answer to the question that the person asked in the search box, it's not going to get as many clicks. So make it read right to humans, even if you don't have all of the right keywords and you're not using the much vaulted pipe character.
So Dr. Pete, our good pal Dr. Pete over at Moz, actually earlier this spring did a new version of his little title tag preview tool, which is in a blog post because that's genius. But you can just type in the text and see exactly what it's going to look like and where it's going to get cut off. And there are a few others. If you go search for SERP Simulator on Google, the first result, the one that's like SERPsimulator.com, is based on ancient mythology, and so don't use that one. But the one from SEO Mofo or the one from Dr. Pete over at Moz actually work like JavaScript works, because it's not a number of characters that you get cut off at, it's how many pixels you get. And that's the cool thing about Screaming Frog, is they'll actually give you the pixel width of your titles and meta descriptions, and not just the character count.
Yep, that's a good tip. Yeah, so thanks for questioning, Andy. But those are a couple of resources you can use right there. Cool. All right, well, guys, we've been at it for 45 minutes. Why don't we, kind of spin it down and wrap it up here, and we'll be back next week with another topic. Who wants to suggest another theme?
Well,
Bueller, right?
We already talked about. Somebody brought up email marketing. Andy seconded it. So do we want to talk about that next time?
Sure. Okay.
I think we know a lot of retailers that have run some pretty kicking email campaigns. Maybe we can get some of them invited in here to talk about what they did, instead of us just talking about what we know about what they did. Because I think that would be more fun, is to have other people talking more than me. And
well, yeah, that's always fun. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So the theme for next week then is going to be email marketing campaigns. And in fact, let's narrow it down a little bit. Email marketing promotions for the holidays, right? So
holiday.
It's kind of event promotion type stuff.
Holiday sauce.
Holiday sauce, indeed. Okay. Very good. Thanks, everybody, for showing up and playing along. And until next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, signing off, and we'll see you later. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.